Everybody. Masta, co-founder of HHSTV, also being joined with fellow co-founder, Coach Tony Brace. Man, what's going on?
What's going on, Fi? Glad to be here, man. It's been a minute since we had a episode of the Roundtable, so it's good to be back with the people, chopping it up about
this up real quick.
Current things in the state of hip hop, man. I think we're gonna talk about Kanye West. By the way, can you hear me, Phil?
All right.
Can you hear me? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Glad to be here, man. It's been a minute since we had
I think I hear you with a little bit of a delay, but
okay.
I think we can get it popping though.
So can you hear me? Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. How about without the headphones?
Can you hear me?
Couldn't hear me? Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Bet. Let's just jump right into it, man. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you without the headphones. So I'll keep them on.
Okay.
So, Coach, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and just take the lead with this. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, welcome to Roundtable, 15th episode for HHSTV. Want to thank everybody for tuning in right now. Okay. And if anybody has any comments and want to drop opinions or anything, go ahead and do that in the feed. We can go ahead and show them. Okay. Now, getting into this topic with Kanye West, and obviously we're going to get to Candace Owens. For those of you who don't know who Candace Owens is, I'm sure she shocked a lot of people in the world. Not even just the base that she's, obviously entertaining, but people who never heard of her, obviously from the Black and colored community, so to speak. And Kanye has been in the news, has been pretty silent, very dormant. And what's been happening is, obviously he had his baby, everything was going on with that. And then he suddenly comes out and starts tweeting. It's been a Twitter storm. Let me go ahead and put a picture of both of the people for you guys so you guys can see. Candace Owens, of course, on the right and Kanye on the left. But a lot of people have been talking about Kanye co-signing with Candace Owens because she has been on a mission, talking about how the Black community needs to start engaging in conservative thought and conservative discussions and even conservative politics. And mind you, this is the Roundtable. We don't judge. All thoughts and opinions are welcome here. Okay. And if you have a positive outlook on Candace Owens and everything she's doing, please drop those comments. I'll be more than happy to share them. Now, when it comes to Kanye giving Candace Owens a shout out saying, hey, I agree with her, because one of the biggest things that she always says is that a lot of the Black and brown community lives on with a victim mentality. Okay. Now that's a very strong term, toxic even. Okay. Considering the history that her own people have with America and also the world, how it treats people of color. But I'm not going to, expand too much on that. But saying something like that is very toxic. It shocks the community. It shocks, makes people feel some type of way. Like, how am I a victim if a system is set up to, essentially oppress us? We can talk about over incarceration. We could talk about redlining. Okay. We could talk about how people are trying to discredit affirmative action, where they wouldn't even want colored people going to college if it wasn't for affirmative action. Okay. So a lot of those things we had to fight for tooth and nail, claw to get. Okay. Now, for her to say something like that, and then, Kanye co-sign on it. And even before that, tweeting very randomly, talking about how we have to get out of the, old way of thinking, linear thinking specifically. Okay. I know he's been posting a couple of tweets. I'm going to go ahead and show them on here just so people can see them. But, just on a tirade of tweets. Here's one of them. I'll show you that. New ideas will no longer be condemned by the masses. We are on the frontier of massive change, starting from breaking out of our mental prisons, which isn't entirely false. Okay. There's a lot of people who still have sort of a mental prison that they exist in. Okay. There's a lot of people who need maybe that kind of talk in order to shock them into being active in things that they want to engage in. But when it comes to him aligning with saying it's all love, I only have love, it supersedes everything else, and I'm gonna just love everybody, which you should. Oh my gosh, like, I'm not saying you should not love everybody, but if you're gonna align yourself with a certain base, and let's keep it 100, Trump ran a pretty aggressive campaign. He got a whole lot of red tape that he was running with. I mean, and for Kanye to align himself with someone who said, why are we supporting people and letting people come in from shithole countries? What do you think he's talking about? Of course, people of color. And then for Kanye to align himself with someone like that, support someone like that, I think it really hurts the hip hop community, which is why Hip Hop Success is talking about it. We kind of feel some type of way. Kanye is a leader of ours. How are you going to stand up for black people during Katrina? And he shocked the world when he said, George Bush doesn't like black people. Okay. And we got my son chiming in. He said Kanye's a bozo. Okay. Shout out to my son. For the Culture, episode 1, check it out on my son's page. Check it out on hiphopsuccess.tv. It was great, man. A lot more episodes coming, so stay tuned for that. But for him to do that, I think it really hurt the hip hop community, especially the struggle that we have going on in America. It really shocked a lot of people, and I think it let a lot of people down. Coach, what do you think about everything going on right now? I know there's a little delay with us, but let me know what you think.
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So, I've been seeing the tweets fire off. And quite frankly, for me, man, I'm somewhere in the middle. And what I mean by that, I come from the inner city, so I know what's real out here in terms of police brutality, in terms of certain people for certain backgrounds having economic privilege and having other privileges and that sort of thing as well. But I certainly believe that we do got to get off the Democratic plantation. Some of those people out there may not like that. I'm an independent. I vote for my personal interests, and my interest is freedom, justice, and equality, starting there. And then low taxes, privacy, and that sort of thing. So Kanye, I think, is a dope producer. I'm not a super fan of Kanye. I like the old Kanye in terms of his music. I know a lot of people, shout out to the General, that's our people. The General, you, others have some other types of feelings towards Kanye, but I kind of want to sit back and really understand, what is this all about? Is this a true change? Is there an agenda? I don't know. It's too early for me to tell, but I'm not going to jump right out and just, for a lack of a better term, attack the brother. You know what I mean? Because I know as melanated people in America, we got a lot of issues to tackle. I'm not trying to transition to another topic, but when I think about a lot of these social media personalities, one of them is the youngster that Boom Gang, whole lot of gang shit going on. The reality is that dude has a significant influence over the minds of young people between the ages of, let's just say, 11 and 18 years old. And he can run around doing stupid shit in public, and we don't condemn him and or hold him to the same standards as a Kanye West. Now you might say, well, Kanye West has more influence than him, coach. I realize that for sure. He does. But what I'm trying to do is just try to bring in some balance, because I feel that there is a lot of hypocrisy within our own culture. So that's how I feel at this point. You know what I mean? Again, I don't know what his motives are. I have seen Kanye do some weird shit in the past, that sort of thing. But I really want to sit back and dialogue with the people and get the people's thoughts. Can you hear me?
Nah, yeah, I hear you, coach. And you make a lot of good points, man. I do want to sit back and see what's going on. I do, because Kanye's very random. He's very wild card. This could be a marketing scheme. Look at J. Cole dropped his album that smashed Spotify sales because he dropped it on 420 randomly. You see what I'm saying? Like, these kind of tactics get more extreme, I guess, when it comes to marketing. Kanye has been off the map for a while. This might be a reason that he does something so polarizing like this to just catch up. Beyonce's killing it. Jay-Z's killing it. Cole's killing it, with no features. I mean, Kanye's got to do something. And then a week ago, he even said that he's dropping his album. He's dropping his album with Cudi. He's dropping Nas's album on June 15th, I believe. And, that's a lot of hype. So it's like, well, why not do something super polarizing to make some impact and some boom and keep people's attention until my projects drop? That could be a tactic. It would be kind of smart, but I want to shout out my son and give out, and show his comment again, because I think it's a really big point. Kanye's rhetoric is dangerous. And I think that's an important point to make, because just like Coach, you mentioned, Kanye does have a huge influence. I think he has like 15 million followers on Twitter. I don't know how many on Instagram. I don't know how many on Facebook. The people listen to this man, and not just his production. He's one of my favorite producers. He's rapper, whatever. Y'all can debate me or fight me later about it. But when it comes to his influence, his trend setting, he doesn't have a fear for judgment. But I don't know if it's all a gimmick too, man. He might be really insecure. He might even be mentally unstable. A lot of people are throwing that around like he's not really all the way there in the head. But my thing is, when you align yourself with this kind of rhetoric, like, Trump saying, make America great again, when we know what that means as colored people, okay? Nobody's saying, he says, where's the tweet where he says something about, oh, there it is. He said, the thought police want to suppress freedom of thought, okay? Nobody wants to suppress your freedom of thought, okay? But when it comes to colored people in this country, we do have a high lack of leadership. Kanye in the hip hop community, after how he stepped up for Katrina, we look at him in kind of a different light. And so for him to step up and say something like that, which we all wanted to hear, we needed a leader to say something like, hey, this president isn't responding properly to people of color. We looked up to him for that. And then now to throw all that down the drain and align yourself saying, make America great again. I love everybody, even if a lot of their base or some of their base really want me dead or out of this country, or people of color to not really excel like they need to and be equal on all fronts. I think that's very dangerous. And for him to have that kind of influence on people, especially the young generation, it's dangerous. Just like my son said. And I don't like it. I don't judge him. I'm not trying to say, hey, we're the thought police. You can't think like that. I'm a little bit of a fan of Rand Paul. He's a libertarian Republican. I like him. I don't like necessarily all his agendas and what he aligns himself with, but I can respect a guy like Rand Paul, who's a libertarian and a Republican, because he's not afraid to go on Capitol Hill in front of his peers and the Democrats, and say that people of color are over incarcerated and over policed, and a lot of them are in jail, which is causing the over incarceration rate for nonviolent crimes. We need to do something about this. I agree with that. Just because he's a Republican doesn't mean I could just, totally discredit him. I actually agree with that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he's all the way that bad with me, but nobody can police me and tell me I can't align with and saying, hey, he's okay, even though he's a Republican. I can understand what Kanye's trying to go with this, but I think it is a little dangerous. So we definitely have to keep an eye on that. What you think about that, Coach?
I mean, we got to keep an eye on a lot of things. You know what I mean? This is hiphopsuccess.tv, and we want to bring core values and principles and a foundation for the culture. But of course, everybody's not going to agree with how we see things, just like I'm not going to agree with how everybody else sees things. Now, my son had mentioned that the rhetoric is dangerous. It can be perceived that way, but there's a lot of rappers and a lot of people in the culture, their rhetoric is dangerous. And so all I'm saying is, will we hold everybody to the same standards of accountability? You got MCs out there that they cheat on their spouse. They get caught up in social media, flaunting. They talk about that life, that they dope dealing and all that sort of stuff. As soon as they get locked up, you got a group of people like that's free so-and-so, so-and-so. Man, fuck all that. Nah. If the motherfucker did something that hurt the community, that's influencing the kids, hold them accountable. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not riding the Kanye wave at all. Coach Tony Brace, what I'm trying to bring is hopefully a balanced perspective, because when you think about a circle, right, when you're dealing with geometry, you're able to analyze things from 360 degrees. And so I'm not just analyzing from a couple of different degrees. I'm trying to analyze it completely in its entirety. And so that's what I mean by that, meaning that I'm not just going to jump on this wave of, Kanye's a bad guy. Like I seen Ebro's really challenging Kanye for whatever reasons. I don't know what the relationship is there. And Ebro makes some good points. I get it. I feel it. I understand it. But I would also like Ebro to hold all the dope dealing rappers that talk about that life that's clearly a detrimental to the community. I think if we all held everybody to that same standard that we're doing Kanye West, then it would be fair. Because otherwise, you don't know not only Kanye's agenda, but you don't know the agendas of these so-called two-party systems. Who are the think tanks that's funneling money? You feel where I'm coming from? I don't know. I don't have no knock on Black Lives Matter. That's a movement that I agree in its foundation, because as you know, the last time I was harassed by a police officer, you was there, downtown Las Vegas. You know what I mean? I'm 39 years old, and the sheriff got out of pocket with me, but I dealt with him.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
And I was telling my wife, I've never had really a fair interaction with law enforcement in my life. And I've been squeaky clean in terms of living a so-called square life since the age of about 22. And I've never got a break from law enforcement. You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, I don't know who's controlling, who put together the whole Black Lives Matter movement. I don't know what their agenda is. I know in the art of war, when you're talking about military strategy, political strategy, there's always that conquer and divide. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm just sitting back and I'm going to watch Kanye.
You
know what I'm saying? I'm an action oriented guy. I want to see what his actions are.
No, I agree. And who knows? This could be a whole joke. He could be like, "Go, man, f everybody in the conservative party and the Dems and all that. I was just doing it just to push this album." And Kanye is random like that. Okay, but I do want to wait and see what kind of actions he's going to have when it comes to, you know, like, is he really going to get behind this whole conservative movement, which he is absolutely allowed to do? I'm not condemning this man for aligning with that. I'm just saying, with the lack of leadership that hip hop and leaders and especially people of color have, he's got to be careful with who he's aligning with. Is he even making his own decisions? Just there's a great point you made too, Coach. Is the two-party system? Who's really making the decisions here? Is someone telling him to jump how high just so they can get a certain movement or a certain turnout before elections? Midterms are coming up. This ain't, it's not a total surprise,
Exactly.
Let's get to these comments, man, real quick. We got a lot of people tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Roundtable number 15. Okay. My son said his actions are consistent. He does and says things for shock value. And that he never has actions that are political, only words. And that's one thing that kind of confused me too, because Kanye says he's not political, but then he does this, which is kind of political. You know what I'm saying? You could say love and I love everybody and this and that, but at the end of the day, you are essentially kind of choosing a side, and it's a side that is really polarizing. And with his amount, somebody, I think, was it Nicole Watson? Is that her name? She made a good point. She said it's difficult to share certain thoughts when you are influential on those levels. Kanye has a lot of influence. So I guess anything he says, I like chocolate. Everybody that's vanilla and strawberry gonna be coming at this man's neck. Now, you know what I mean? Because he just has that kind of weight and that kind of influence. So if he chooses a side, that's what's gonna happen. Getting to Candace Owens, okay, for those of you who don't know who that is, Candace Owens is she's a writer. She has her own YouTube channel. I forgot what the name of the channel was. I think it was like 180. Let me check real quick. I think it was 180 YouTube channel. Red Pill Black. And she's very, conservative and trying to essentially wake up the African American community to really step out and be, more open to conservative views, which is cool. She can do that. You know what I'm saying? But, she really kind of goes hard on certain, organizations like Black Lives Matter, which I think is absolutely validated in everything they're doing, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And, she really slams Black Lives Matter and any real minority organizations that are trying to really reach some kind of equality. But I think her mission might be more trying to just wake us up that the Democrats are actually bad for Black people, and maybe they should be more open to conservative thought. But sometimes she's a little extreme with her statements, which is why it's so polarizing. And I can see why Kanye maybe gave her a shout out and said, hey, no more linear thinking. We're moving forward, and that's cool. But I think when Kanye does it, it's a little bit more dangerous, so to speak. Isaiah Rubin said he also posted 2024 in a tweet. He also posted mad comments about running for office. Who knows, man? You know what I mean? Coach, what do we always say? We in the twilight zone, right?
Man, we in the twilight zone. But hey, man, I'm too big of a cat to get chased up the tree by a kitten. You feel me? That's why it comes down to critical thinking. Can you hear me? I know there's a slight delay.
Now, a question I want to ask the audience is, do you think this is an act for Kanye, or do you think he's going all in with this whole aligning with the conservatives? That's my question. And post your comments of what you think. Is he going all in with this, or is this an act? You know, obviously Kanye's a real wild card, but what do you think? You know,
if this is an act, I definitely got a problem with it, because, you know, we're in the current state of the world where we damn near at World War III. You know what I mean? Just on a global scale. And there's so much division within the United States that if this is a marketing strategy, if this is just him trolling, then I most definitely got a problem with that, because we got too many serious issues. DeWitt Solomon says he's acting. Again, I don't know. Historically, he goes on his rants. So I don't know. You know, people talk about the mental health issues these days, the blonde hair Kanye days, but folk always has some, you know, some issues as far as I'm concerned, even with the whole old Kanye. You know what I mean? He would act in a way that is being bold, but at the same time, it stirs up things. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it was stirring up things in the right way. So I don't know, man. I'm sitting back listening. You know, I want to generate some bigger thinking with our audience, because, you know, this is what this show is all about. It's not about me. It's not about you. I'm not a political commentary. I'm a business coach. I'm Coach Tony Brace, the hip hop business coach. I'm more focused on getting results for people in business from an economic standpoint,
absolutely,
from a personal development standpoint. But I deal with these issues because this is our culture. And again, Kanye West is a heavy hitter. You know, some of the things that I do like about him is when he challenged Nike. I don't personally like his clothes and his fashion. I'm not dissing, I'm not hating. I think his clothes and his fashion, for me, is whack. But I'm the same dude that don't like a Lamborghini. I think a Lamborghini's whack. You know, if I got 100 M's, I'm never going to buy a Lamborghini, because I just don't like Lamborghinis. With some of my homies like, Coach, man, that Lamborghini is fire. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
If you love it, I like it.
Yeah. I mean, for the audience watching, you know, what do you think Kanye is like? How do you think he could have gone about it better? Because I don't want to lose focus off of, you know, his message of showing love and loving people. Like, you know, what do you think he's really trying to? Do you think he's all in with that whole love statement? Because it makes sense, you know. I wish he would have just done that without being so polarized on the other side. If he would have just came out on his own, stood on his own ground, on his own platform, and said, hey, man, we just got to love everybody. F the politics. F this. It just did a rant. No make America great again hats. No, yeah, let me show that picture just for context. He just tweeted that. You know, no make America great again hats. No, you know, hey, man, shout out to Candace Owens and blah, 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 even though she's so polarized in herself, too. If, you know, I wish Kanye would have just came out on his own platform and said, you know, hey, man, we gotta get off this, you know, whole divisive and, you know, this tension that we have in this country, and really, you know, come together, because, you know, no linear thinking, no group think. Let's just think in one direction when it comes to progress. You know, even though essentially that's a form of linear thinking, but still, like, it's still in a positive and progressive direction. But to go ahead and come out and say, you're gonna, support her and take pictures with these hats and say, victim mentality, when we know that really makes Black people feel some type of way because we have a very, exclusive and toxic history with this country. So I wish he would have done it a little bit better. What do you guys think he should have done? If anything, you think he should have just stayed quiet? Which I think a lot of people think is pretty hard for him. Kanye doesn't like to stay quiet. What do you think he should do from here? What's Alvin saying? Shout out to Alvin. I think he's really free flowing. If this picks up traction, he'll double down on that conservative narrative. If he doesn't, he'll find shock value somewhere else. That's a good point. That sounds like Kanye. Real sounds like Kanye. Nicole Watson said he very well could be all in. Honestly, I feel he may have just wanted to stir the pot. You can only do it the wrong way or no one will pay attention. That's true too. Shock value. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that's the dangerous stuff. The shock value.
What Bodek say? What's he say? Well, Brittany said, I don't care if it's an act or not. There's too much at stake for him to be using his platform like this. Show some love to the Black community. Where's the Kanye that called out Bush during Katrina? R.I.P. to that dude. This is Kim Ye. That's pretty good. Yo, that's real talk though. That's real talk because who's really making the decisions now, man? It's all Hollywood, I want that old Kanye,
Absolutely. I want that old Kanye as well.
What? Let's see. Jean-Claude said, it's hard to tell with dude. He's so unstable. That's very scary because he has a huge following of people that wholeheartedly believe in him and won't take a second to question anything he says. Yeah, we're trying to keep our eyes on that too. Absolutely. I agree with you. Alvin said, old Kanye is gone. I mean, and a lot of people think we're just blowing this up, but I think it's very important that people understand these are very toxic and polarizing times, and leaders, there's a lack of leadership in America. Look at our president. You see what I'm saying? So when someone that we think is a leader who is supposed to be leading us in the right direction and has done some pretty radical things in our favor, people of color, and to come out and do something like this, it is toxic. So we are going to talk about it. We're not bashing them. We don't do that at Hip Hop Success. We are all progress. We're honestly all love too. We would love to have Kanye come on this platform. We would love to work with Kanye on things to get organized with the community. We would love to give him a platform to speak on his, non-linear thinking and progress. We would love to host something like that for him. We'd love to sit down with him, but, when you come out and talk like this, it just kind of shakes things up and makes people feel uneasy because we did look up to you as a leader. And now you've kind of maybe diminished your status. I don't know. I would really say that, but people are hurting, man. People are hurting. But Coach, man, you got any final thoughts before we wrap up this 15th roundtable?
No, man. Again, Coach Tony Brace, hiphopsuccess.tv, webisode 15. Again, you asked me to come on. I didn't do a whole lot of research on the conservative talk host, Candace, whatever the case may be. You know me, man. I'm an independent critical thinker. I'm not jumping on no bandwagon. I'm a dude that deals with simple black and white. In most cases, there's gray areas. Right, wrong, clean versus unclean. That's all I got to say.
I feel that, Coach. And, my final thoughts is let's just pay attention. Let's really pay attention to what's going on with what Kanye's doing. I don't think anybody's blowing anything up, making a big deal about Kanye aligning with the people that he's aligning with right now. I don't think that's not a big deal. If it was anybody else, some other artist that's just doesn't have any big influence or history of stepping up for black people or brown people, I don't think anybody would care. Honestly, I probably wouldn't. But because it's Kanye and I did look up to him as a leader, I do feel some type of way. And that's why we're talking about it. We're not judging the brother. You know, we're just having a discussion. Everybody out there bashing people because they're speaking up about this. People look up to Kanye. Kanye's an icon in hip hop. He has a very special place in some people's hearts, man. You know, people grow up listening to him. He changed lives, you know. So when he does something like this, people are going to feel some type of way. Let him talk about it. You know, don't feel some type of way about it, or come on the platform, even though if this live feed's about to finish, but if you feel some type of way about it, post in the comments and let's dialogue. You know, what kind of solution-based thinking do you think he should engage in to maybe, you know, turn down the flames but who knows? Kanye loves to turn up the flames. He's not going to turn down no flames, but still, like, I feel he could come up with a better solution to kind of mend everybody together, because he's really shocked some people. But, you know, maybe he just really don't care anymore, you know, which I think could be dangerous. I do agree with my son on that. It could be dangerous. But I'm going to engage with Coach too and just sit back and watch and observe. And let's just see where it goes, man. Let me finish up some comments to show some love, sir. What's that? Alvin said, unfortunately, this is the age of shock value. This is also the Twilight Zone. So I agree, man. I agree. Mr. Watson said, I think he should have just dropped his projects with him being gone or silent so long. We all would have been hyped to hear his music again, but doing it like this causes me to question his motives. Right. You know, but hey, this is classic Kanye, you know, so shouldn't be very new to people, but it's just how he did it, which is shocking us. So again, hiphopsuccess.tv, roundtable number 15. Thank you all for tuning in. Please like, comment, share this discussion. It is trending right now. Share your thoughts in the comments. This discussion is not stopping here. Go ahead and share it with your friends. Let them chime in, bring in their thoughts and opinions, and people who don't necessarily align with us. Maybe some people like what he's doing. Maybe some are very conservative and want to speak up on how Kanye is engaging in things that they think. They just don't know how to say it. You know, bring them in this discussion too, so we can chop it up with them too. All right, Coach, how can everybody get in touch with you, man?
Yeah, you can get in contact with me on all social media at Coach Tony Brace. Of course, if you want to reach out directly to me, you can call me at my office at 888-775-9914, or you can text me directly at 725 area code 222-8144. And I just want to say peace and blessings to the people.
Shout out to Ishmael. Love my bookshelf. Hey, you can find me on all social media at MASTA_PHI. That's Masta5, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on all social media at hiphopsuccess.tv. Visit our website, get subscribed, follow us on, or subscribe to us on YouTube. And we'll be coming back soon with another episode 2 of For the Culture, hosted by my son. That's a real exciting new show we're presenting to you guys. And we will be back next week with another roundtable. All right. Peace.
Peace.